we're gonna rock and roll right on through these fabulous 10 little fingers you have. So just like we do the lines of the feet, we're gonna do the lines of the hands today. When I'm rolling my upper body, same as my lower body, I like to start at the fingers or the toes and then work up the body. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with the palms. So just like our foot, we're gonna pretend this line right here is like the heel of your foot, okay? And then right through here is the arch. This is still the ball where your feet and your fingers meet, so where you can feel those feel like little balls. That's the ball of the hand and then the fingers. So that's the progression of the chain we're gonna go. Heel, arch, balls, toes, or fingers this time. We're gonna start at the pinky, do the pinky line, then we're gonna do these 3 fingers together, and then we're gonna do the thumb line. So that's the progression of what we're gonna do. You're gonna need some of these fabulous foot wakers, or now they're going to be hand wakers or finger wakers. When you wanna do this, you wanna keep your wakers shoulder distance apart. Now, if being on your legs is too hard, you can get up on a table, so you could stand up on a table and lean over, totally fine. What you want is to get as much body weight over your hands. Other thing we want to talk about is if you've done a lot of serving or been a waitress, waiter for a long time, had a lot of bend in your wrist, this bending might be too much for you. Work and be mindful about keeping your wrist straight. It's not about the wrist right now, it's about the hands. So we're going to start. First, we're just going to get right on the center of the heel, just like we do when we're on our feet. So I want you guys to take your wakers, bring them up and over your head, and then slowly bring them down. This is either on the table or on the ground. Then I'm going to come up. I'm going to get my hands right here. So I want that right where they come together. There's like a little line between these 2 meaty parts. That's right what I'm going to put on the waker. It's right where we get carpal tunnel, those kinds of things. That's where we get narrowing of our tendons, ligaments, nerves through there, and then we get numbness, tingling, pain. So here I'm straight here over it. I'm relaxing my neck down. That's key. I'm driving these wakers in. Now, if this is too much for the wrist, you can come back a little bit and drive it in this way. So I've got my wrists a little bit straighter, little bit of a bend in the elbow, nothing much, but I don't want to be locked out. So slight bend. And then I like to get as much weight as I can. So I'm just going to sink and open up that palm. Just like we do with the heel. You can rock a little bit to the left and to the right, gently, slowly, feeling things out, keeping the weight on your palms. Bring your weight back a little. You can get into the base of those palms. Lift those fingers up and really just rock right in. You can kind of really play around with this. The goal is to move your body but not your hands, because shifting your hands on these wakers don't feel very good. But putting the weight and shifting the weight above the wakers feels very nice. So that was the palm. If you want to check in if you're doing things right, you can see that my palm's got some nice stuff going on. Now we're going to do the line of your pinky. So we're going to start at the outside heel. So you can bend your finger. You can feel the bone that's moving right back here. That's the base. So I'm going to basically karate chop. And again, just like our hands, we can ooze out the padding of our hand just like our feet. So I'm going to bring my hand, karate chop it on and down, and curl it in. Now you see how my hands are out a little bit. I'm going to bring the wakers in a little, or out a little bit to get my arms where I want it. So hand here, and then I'm really focusing on that pinky. Sinking, breathing. Again, you can come back here if that's too much on the wrist to flex. Relax that hand down. Focusing totally on the bone of the pinky. Inhale, exhale, sink. Breathing is still important. Again, we want to spend at least 30 seconds on each side, waking things up, a little forward, a little back. Good. We're going to come out of that one and we're going to go right to the meat. So I know I'm right where I'm at. Now I'm going to go right into this meat, and I'm going to slide this over and put it down. So again, karate chop it down, slide that padding. We are putting our hands right on the arch or the palm, the meaty part of that hand. Again, slightly flexed elbows and wrists, focusing on that pinky line and pinky line only. Really trying to drive it in. If you're feeling tight, stretch that hand out and then wrap it around the ball. Sink and breathe. Shift that weight. Wake those hands up. Keep the weight on the outside. So again, you can collapse in. That's not getting it on the lateral side. Keep that thumb up. Good. Perfect. We're going to come out of that one. We're going to go right right to the bone, the ball mound of the finger. So again, pinky finger, find that ball mound right there, and again, either push it in or pull it this way, wherever you're oozing. Get it right on that spot, and really drive that waker. Keep the thumbs up slightly to keep the weight in the pinky side of the hand. Sink and breathe. Keep your elbows slightly flexed. Chin is nice and relaxed. You can do yes and no's. Make sure you're keeping it nice and relaxed. A little bit more forward gives you a little more flex in the wrist. Come a little bit back, little left, little right. Do where it feels good. Get it where it doesn't feel good and sink it in. Excellent. Now we're going to rock and roll this pinky. So I'm literally going to put the whole palm of my hand down and only the pinky up on the waker. So when I do this, I'm going to bring the wakers out just a little bit more. I'm going to bring my palms totally in, or my fingers in, and I'm going to get that finger as much as I can up and on the waker. And I want to see a little white kind of line right here. That means I've got the finger up on the place where it's supposed to be, but the palm down, and I'm actually stretching the pinky joint. So sink on down. Palms are flat. This is beneficial to have your arms totally flexed like this, but again, if you can still stretch those pinkies just as well right here. This just adds an extra more stretch with the rest of the hands. We don't bring our hands back like this very much, so this can be fairly tender when you first start, so just relax into it. Slowly get there. Inhale, exhale, sink. Give yourself some yeses and some nos. Feel those fingers all the way from the fingers all the way up into your head. Can you get that connection up into your shoulders? Then we're going to slowly sink back down, and when we get to the fingers, I like to do a little monkey shake. So if you pretend you're a monkey, 90-degree elbow, hands like that, just make them a little faster. Monkey shake. This releases all the nerves, tendons, ligaments that get stuck, that you get numbness and tingling all the way up into the shoulders. So anytime you're having issues in the arm, monkey shaking is always helpful. Now, middle lines. We're going to go from the palm all the way up to the middle finger, and we're going to make sure we get the guys next to the middle finger too. So we were already here, but we're going to get way on there. So I like to bring my hand way down like this, and really drive it. And again, make sure if you brought them out for the fingers that you're nice in a good spot. So line that in there and really drive it down, and then I'm just going to let those hands relax on down. Really letting that wakers just spread those two sides of the meat of the muscles. Relax your head. Sink in. Feel the connection into your bones. Our hands do so much work for us. We need to let them have a break and really work into them and help them. This is a perfect place to spend time if you're getting carpal tunnel, any kind of numbness, tingling, burning, painful stuff in your hand. This is a place where the nerves go through. So now we're going to go right to the meat of the palm. So right in the middle. I have a hard time because I've got such a rounded palm. I have a hard time getting into the meat. So sometimes you need to actually put one hand, get it right in the middle, and then just put the weight on one hand. Relax that elbow a little bit and sink in. This is the way I have to do it because I have two built up hands and they like to work. So if I really want to get the weight in, I have to use my other hand to help it sink in, and then I'm just going to rotate and shift. Again, if your knees are getting sore, you can double up the mat, you can put a towel on. Remember, you can do this sitting or standing, just keep the weight over the ball. I'm going to switch to the other hand. So again, I'm really going to spread that hand out and then really press into the palm. Get that connection, feel the waker all the way through. Relax that muscles, relax the meat, find the bones. Once you get into the bones, then you can do a little micro shifting. Again, the movement's coming from your upper body, not your hand. It's a lot easier just to lean forward and backward and left and right to get the meat and get the weight into the places that you want. Good. Beautiful. So now we're going to go right into the balls of the three middle fingers. So I'm going to go up, and I'm going to shove those fingers back in where they need to go, back in where they need to go, and I'm going to spread them out just like I would do my feet. And I could come down here, but I get a little bit more weight if I just keep my wrist a little straighter and just flex right into there like that. Again, you can sit down like this, but then I lose the weight into the middle finger. So this is where I like to drive it in. It's kind of like if we were gonna do the footwork and lift the heel, right? To get into there to the base of the balls of the foot. Same concept with the hands. Don't slide. If you slide off the wakers, it hurts because those bumps don't feel good when your hands are moving. Again, rock, really drive that waker in. You can relax your hands down a little bit to find a different position. Maybe you want to get a little bit further lower in the balls, that's fine, the ball area of the hand. And now we're going to do the fingers. So these 3 fingers go on the waker, palm stays completely down. Up on the waker, palm down. I even like to kind of slide it down, spread those fingers out as far as you can, sink down. Spread those fingers out as far as you can, sink down. Then you come up. This is where you actually kind of really want to get that good stretch in the wrist because it really goes all the way to the fingers. Sink and breathe, relax that head again. Shift when you're ready. Again, this can be super intense. Take your time. You may need to do this move a couple times a day really gently. I stretch my fingers on the steering wheel when I'm driving the car all the time. You don't have to have wakers to get good stretches. It just really helps. Now, slowly come out of that one. Bring your hands up. Let's monkey shake. So we're going to monkey shake when we get done with each line if you haven't figured it out. It kind of releases, loosens. Now feel all those fingers. My fingers feel really nice. My thumbs are like thunk, 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 thunk. They're ready to be rolled. So for the thumb line, I'm turning my hand this way because this is the line. Okay, so you're going to go this way on the waker. Move your thumb. See this big bone? I've got a really nice, easy, pronounced bone. That's right where we're going to go. I like to even touch both sides so that helps me land the waker where I want it. Now, we're going to bring that hand up, get right on that bone. This can be fairly sensitive. Give yourself some time. If it's super intense, back it out and then slowly bring the weight forward. Relax the other hands down and then just sink in. Breathe. My thumbs are always super intense, but I use my thumbs for a living. So if you use your thumbs for a living, be mindful and gentle. This may be a place you want to get in. I like to lift my fingers a little and rock to one side to really get on the inside of my thumb. Slowly exhale, lift the other side and get over to the other side. Again, this is something that you can revisit many times, but take it easy the first time. There's always tomorrow. There's always the next release. Sink back, drive those wherever you need to. Spend a lot of time here. This is our thumb gets the most work. Now we're going to go to the meat of the thumb. So this right here in the arch, we're really going to get into the meat. Again, you can always check if you're in the right spot by the little dots. Thumb straight in the meat. Again, my meat doesn't ooze out too much, but if it does, you want to push it under, sink on down. Again, this is tender. And if you don't feel anything, then this is an area that is probably a dead zone for you, so that's another reason to get on it. So just because you can't feel anything doesn't mean that that's not a spot that needs to be rolled. It might be a spot that needs to be rolled even more. So feel it out, roll it a couple times. See if you can get more feeling in that area if you're getting nothing. See if you can get some information from the balls, some stimulation. Rock in through. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now we're going to go to the ball of the thumb. This one's a little tricky. It's right there, but if you don't bend the thumb, it's going to be really hard for you to feel it. So I'm going to get my thumb right on there, and I'm actually going to turn my thumbs in a little, and that's going to help me get on that joint. So I'm putting that joint right in the middle, turning my thumbs in a little bit, but you turn them however that your hand needs to be to get in there. I just know I seem to have to turn my thumb a little bit when I get to this spot to get the weight where I want it. Again, if you're not getting that weight enough, you can use your palm, you can smush it right down. So there, I'm right on the joint. So you can do that too. That's totally acceptable. Just be mindful of how much weight you're putting in. Don't hyperextend your top thumb. And just relax into it and breathe. Sometimes you need to do a couple different things. As your body changes, you will find different things that you need to do to modify things. And that's not a bad thing. That means that life in the world is changing, and so are you. Sink in and breathe. Wonderful. the tricky thumb part. We're gonna come behind the hand, and we're gonna bring our hands, behind the waker, palms up, and really stretch that thumb. Get it nice and straight, nice and straight. Whew, doggy. That is a stretch. So we're stretching it this way. So behind the wakers. Breathe, relax your neck. Slowly come out. We're going to bring our hands next to the wakers and stretch the thumb in a different way. One more breath. And we're going to bring our hands right in front of the wakers and set them down. Stretch, lean a little. Really just experiment with the fingers. If you want to get super fancy, you can even bring them in a little bit more. But I feel that once we get here, we're adequately getting that thumb joint stretched. So you can slowly just sink on back down, take those hands up, shake them out one more time. Thank your hands for being so awesome and being so helpful in your everyday life. Feel those thumbs, they feel nice and relaxed and loose, not so funky like they were before. And there you go, my dear rollers, you have rocked and rolled right on through the hands. Check you on the flip side.